Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sitar with Pro Gaia, and today we are talking about family court and not allowing it to define who you are. And I think that this is a really important topic because when we start the family court process, typically, it's like anything else. When you're starting something new, you have your ideas of how the process works, and you do this. You take the steps that you need to take to make sure that you're following the right procedures and processes. And typically, ideally, when you're doing things by the book in the right way, you expect specific outcomes. Family court is a different type of process, and the worst thing that you can do is set yourself up to allow yourself to believe that it is going to work out a specific way. And when things don't work out the way you want them to, then that's when it may start to attempt to erode your self confidence or your feelings of not being worthy. And that is why I'm making this video today, because it's very important to realize that you cannot control the outcomes of certain situations. Maybe later on down the line, certain things may work in your favor, but try to let go of the grip that you have in the moment, because it helps in the long run. And it also can start to erode your sense of worthiness and self-confidence. And I think that's very important to address, because in this process, which is a very long process, you want to keep your sovereignty and your inner authority and your strength and your momentum to keep going. And sometimes unintentionally, not just family court, but any court process, is designed to wear you down. so so you can have the momentum for the long haul. Take the weight off of yourself and don't allow it to pull you under. The moment that I decided that I no longer wanted court to define me, there were a few, but one culminated up to the point where I finally said enough. I felt like there were so many weights on my shoulders, notifications and filings and oppositions, and it was just so many things to keep track of on top of everything else that I have going on for my household. I just said enough is enough. I'm going to give this to a higher power, and I'm going to show up in the details. And the day that I decided to do that, honestly, everything changed, not just in family court, in my life in general. And I am the kind of person that needs my hand on the project. I'm not proud of it, but it worked for so long. And I want to know, okay, what is the outcome? If I do A and it leads to B, then C is the outcome, right? That's how it's always worked. But sometimes that's not how it's going to go right away. Court is a different animal, and you just have to be patient and allow be patient and allow. And so surrendering, which is why I created that surrender experiment, it's about letting go and showing up in the details. You're not giving up, you're just surrendering to the process, giving it to a higher power, and you show up in the details. Let's see, the reality of family court, if you don't know, or if you've even been a part of any court process, it's a very traditional, long process, which is based on precedents and procedure. Meaning, like, for example, you could have a case and it could be like the worst case that you've ever heard of, right? And then someone else had a similar case to you. It's not the exact same, but it's similar. And their court case went before yours, and it set a precedent that basically says, okay, this is how the court is going to rule on this type of case based on this precedent. So, no matter how much evidence that you provide in the moment, I'm not saying later on down the line it's going to be different, but usually courts and judges they judge or they rule on precedents because sometimes it's just better for the process. I can't say exactly all the reasons why, but it sets a precedent, and then you can definitely prove it that it's not the right ruling for your situation at a certain point. But just know that in the moment, sometimes it's going to be based on a precedent or the procedure. How does the court typically traditionally rule on this specific type of a thing? And the details sometimes are lost in that, and you just have to sit on your hands and wait. And that's why it's very important to not allow yourself or your self-worth to get caught up in those details. Very important. I cannot stress that enough. It's no reflection of you. It is no reflection of your worth, or are you a good mom, are you a good dad? It's none of those things. The courts aren't sitting around being like, let's see who we can pick on today. No, it's just the way it's designed. It's designed to make you feel like, am I doing something wrong? They don't, that's not their goal. It's just, you're not an attorney, or that's just the process. So the also the point in this is to make sure you understand that you're not doing anything wrong. You just need to know that you need to keep your wits about you, stand strong, keep your inner authority while you move through the process. Don't lose your self-worth during the process, no matter what's going on. That's why it's really important to stay steady, stay calm, keep your nervous system regulated, and don't be reactive. Don't feed into any drama or negativity. These are all very important things while you're moving through this process. Venting, even venting to other people, also is not good for you, because it sucks you into that, am I doing something wrong? And you want somebody to approve of how you're behaving or whatever. um and why do we try to control? Well, for me as a mom, I'm trying to protect my children. I'm trying to protect, the best interest of what I think that children need. And so I want to control that outcome. I want to say, hey, they only need to be able to do things this specific way. That was the beginning. And because they're my children, I want to make sure that everything works out the way that it's supposed to. But as you move throughout the process, you realize that, okay, everybody has an opinion of what that looks like. The court has a basic opinion. The judge has his own opinion. The opposing party has their own opinion. I have my own opinion. And somehow we all need to come to an agreement of what this looks like for the children. So it's a collective effort to figure out what is the best interest of the children. So that's why letting go of and white knuckling and gripping on to what you think is the exact right thing isn't always the best thing in the moment. I'm not saying later on down the line, I'm not saying you're supposed to give up on what you think is best for your children. I'm saying for the process, let go and surrender of gripping on to it has to go exactly this way. Um, what does surrender look like? Well, for me, the day that I decided that I was no longer going to feed into the control, surrender looked like on that day me saying enough is enough, and gave it to a higher power and said, I'm going to show up in the details. And then I had to decide, okay, what does the process of giving up, not giving up, what does the process of surrender look like? Because it's not something that you can just wake up and say, okay, I surrender, I give it to a higher power. You can do that, but are you going to follow through with it? Because my brain is wired in a way that makes me feel like, okay, Groundhog Day, let's rewind and all right, how do I, because I've been operating this way for as long as I've been on this earth. So I'm like, I want to have my hands on the project, and I have to remind myself, this is not my fight. So every day I have a process that I do. And that is why I created the surrender experiment, is because it is a lifestyle, and it is a reminder that you do not have to live a, a certain way. For example, simple daily practices that helped me. And it's still helping me because I do it every day. You guys see me, I go and I sun gaze every day, and I set an intention. If I had frustrations from the prior day, I speak to the sun, and I allow myself to release those issues or troubles that I have. I do heart opening and releasing control through prayer. So, for example, I will basically, ask, can this issue that I have going on in my heart, let it be released? And I say a prayer afterward or an affirmation, something like that, which sets it. Then I sun gaze to set the clear intention. So I'll go out into the sun, and I'm only out there for 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, depending on what's going on. And you just give your issues or your troubles or your frustrations to that higher power. Um, 5 or 10 minutes of gentle yoga for my nervous system. Nothing specific. I really like yin. Okay, so I'm not a gym person. Like, I'm not breaking multiple sweats a day or anything, but I actually really enjoy yin yoga, and it's very gentle poses that are held for 3 to 5 minutes depending on what's going on, and it stretches you. So if you have tension in your body, like your nervous system, it stores all of the trauma and the tension and the stress and the worry. Yin yoga helps you release some of that tension by holding poses, and it feels so good, and I highly recommend it. My gym actually has classes that, when you pay for a gym membership, you get free classes. So I do the yin yoga, and I do a vinyasa flow. Vinyasa is a little bit more, you're moving around a little bit more, you're breathe a lot of breathing. Both of them is a lot of breathing, a lot of deep breathing. Yin is deep breathing and longer holding of the pose, whereas vinyasa, it's a more like a flow of breathing and movement, and you do a little bit more of a body movement, whereas with yin, you're holding your body. So they both serve their purpose, and I definitely feel like you need to get some movement in because it helps move that stress around your body. Stress is stored in the fascia. I'm not a big expert on that topic, but I do know that your fascia needs to be worked and moved, and that's why dancing is really good for nervous system regulation, and just moving your body. You can turn on the radio, or whatever your favorite songs are on your playlist or whatever. Turn that on while you're cleaning up, move your body. That also is a great way. But I do 5 to 10 minutes of that per day, and I recently just incorporated that because normally I was doing it every once a week, and then I was like, I need more of this because you can kind of feel your body will tell you when you need a release of like tension. So you need to do something. You need to move your body. So just doing 5 or 10 minutes at home every day, it's nothing in comparison to how good you feel afterward. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if I was not consciously doing these things, then I would be tensed up and stressed. Eating cleaner. I just uploaded a video about nutrition. I explained in the video that when I was going to the gym, they had a special going on for a vegetable box. It's organic, and I already eat a lot of veggies and fruits, and I have the kids eating veggies and fruits too. So I buy that stuff already, but because it was organic and it was a good price, I was like, why not? So I signed up for it, and then it showed up at the door. And I forgot about it, but it showed up at the door a week later. And I was like, ooh, and it was all kinds of, fruits and veggies and things like that. And it was a rush. And I think that it's a great way. You don't necessarily have to get a vegetable box, you can go to the grocery store, but those lighter foods, they also help with regulating your nervous system, because when you're chomping on potato chips and cookies and cracker, like all of the things, unhealthy processed foods, it's high in inflammation and also stresses out your nervous system. That doesn't mean you can't eat it like, just don't eat it all the time. Incorporate, if you're having breakfast, instead of having a sausage biscuit. Maybe you can have a fruit parfait. Throw some fruit in a yogurt cup with some granola, and that's just as good and it's just as filling. And your body is going to thank you because it doesn't feel like it's stressing out. And inflammation is real. Um, it does make a difference. uh let's see, ending the day by surrendering what didn't serve me and clearing my energy before bed. This is a game changer, and let me tell you. So I have been doing this lately. So the day happens, and then, as I'm getting ready to end my day and the kids are down and they're in the bed, or and I'm preparing myself, I have to run back. Well, what happened today? It doesn't have to be anything specifically related to family court. We're talking about, was there a road rage incident? Somebody in customer service was being rude. Um, I was at the grocery store and somebody got in my way. Whatever it is, release it, because you're that's negative energy. Even being around someone that made you feel uncomfortable or feel frustrated or whatever, now it's in your energy field. You can release that. So before you go to bed, you can say, hey, okay, I'm releasing this. I had this situation happen to me today. I'm kind of feeling a little icky about it. I'm releasing this. You can have it. And you can use your crystals if you like I said in the other video, you don't need crystals, you are the crystal, but it does support your intention. So yeah, you can clear your energy with a crystal. You can clear your energy with sage. You can clear your energy in the shower, taking a nice cool or warm shower and just kind of releasing it's all about your mind. Allow your mind to visualize yourself releasing this negative energy, and you will feel a lot lighter. It's all a part of the surrender process, and I'm telling you, if you try it just once, see how it feels. It is it is powerful. It is a real thing. um and you won't regret it. And I honestly think that you would want to consider, maybe I should incorporate this into my daily routine, because I've been doing it for a while now, and um, it helps so much. It is way better than venting. It's a routine, it's a ritual, it's a daily thing that you can do to keep your head on straight. Um, when stronger support may help. So, say for instance, your kids, they're having issues that you feel may need some support, like um maybe one of them is showing signs of dysregulation that isn't going away, and you see that it's turning into a problem that's probably heading into school activities or something like that. You may want to consider some play therapy for your child, or counseling. Maybe the school has a therapist. Maybe you can go find a outpatient therapist and just have like 30 to 60 minutes of, you know talk time or play time, because play therapy is a thing. If you have kids under 5 years old, play therapy is great. And then if they're over a certain age, 5, then them talking it out. You may not get to the root cause of the issue in the first 2 or 3 sessions, but the fact that they can talk to somebody else, an unbiased third party, that is huge for a child. Even for yourself, if you need to talk it out. But you can also get to the goal of what you need to do with consistent showing up for yourself as well. If you're noticing that your child is having many more meltdowns and issues at transitions, strong avoidance of one parent over the other, or signs of anxiety or depression, keep all of that in mind, because those are your signals to let you know, okay, maybe I should have my child in some stronger support, some therapy. So, you are, just so you know, I'm going to wrap this up and let you know that you are so much more than your court case. Your worth, your peace, and your future are not decided in a courtroom. You are everything, and you deserve to treat yourself that way. Um, Surrender the need to control the outcome. It is an act of love for you, for your household, for your children, for whoever you have in your orbit. And I love you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Please share this with someone if you think that it would help. The main reason why I created Pro Se Gaio is because I was looking for a community that understood the gentler way of approaching family court. It is very stressful if you've never been a part of it, or if you've never had to. Lucky you. It is a lot. And if you could be helping someone with just sharing, this information, or maybe they can help someone get to the information. But it really helps me to be able to share my journey with you guys. So for the video, please like, subscribe, and also head over to the surrender experiment. There's a playlist that is over there, and then I'm basically surrendering every 3 days. I think it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I upload a video of what I'm doing in the surrender experiment, and I would love for you guys to join me over there. And also keep an eye out for the monthly anchor call. It's basically going to be a small group of moms and dads, and we're just going to be discussing how can we move through this family court process, navigate through it steady, calmer, with a regulated nervous system, just being support for each other. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely leave a message down below or send me a message. It's the email is sitar@prosagaia.com. You can find it wherever the information is, the bio, the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care.